Hello there, and very welcome to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Let's say it's your Sunday night news destination. Coming up on tonight's show, yes, there has been an overwhelming amount of devastation over the last 10 days. And unfortunately, 200. Now, this is the count so far. This is the last count that I got. I was just checking out my facts and figures. Last count I got is that there has been over 220 people have lost their lives. And that number, unfortunately, that number is going up. The number's getting bigger. And tonight, what I want to do, I'm going to be, filling you in on as much information as I have that's available to me on the cleanup, on everything that's happening with the cleanup, and what to do in the unfortunate if it happens that you happen to come across someone that lost their life. If you happen to be up in North Carolina or any of the areas that were very badly devastated, what to do. So stick with me for that. I'd also like to hear what you how you dealt with it, how it affected you, how losing power and how everything in the last 10 days, what you did. Because it wasn't normal. It was not normal, not even slightly. You can text me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, which is 71307, or you can get me on the WRD talk line, which is 800-905-0989. I will be taking your calls. I'll be taking your calls during the ad breaks, and you can get me on that. But as I said, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know how you spent the last 10 days. Did you have power? Were you lucky enough? A lot of people, it was a great, I won't say it was a great situation, but we didn't lose power for long. Friday morning, woke up. Friday did just after the hurricane hit. Friday morning, woke up and we had no power. Fan wasn't blowing. Everything was turned off in the house. I got up and it was very strange because it was dark when I woke up and tried to turn on lights. It's amazing how you get used to trying to turn on lights when you go into buildings or you go into rooms or it's something that we do so naturally. And walking around for that 12, 14 hours, however long we were without power, as I say, we were very lucky. We were extremely lucky that we got power back in the house. Walking around, walking into rooms, trying to turn it on. And then you go, oh yeah, no, that's not there. But it was a different experience. And then we had internet. Internet came back, and then all of a sudden it died again. We were without internet up until at least halfway through Thursday. But I think, yeah, I want to say it was a strange feeling. It was a very strange feeling. We weren't really ready for it. I said it last week that we weren't. It wasn't it. It's not that we weren't ready for it because there was lots of people saying, "Oh, the hurricane is coming through and it's going to cause chaos. It's going to." But at the same time, every other hurricane that was going to come through, every other hurricane that was going to make landfall, it didn't. I wasn't prepared. We had no water in the house. Like we had the mains water, but we had nothing ready. Like we had maybe one slab of water, if you want to call that, 24 bottles, and we survived on it. We had food. There was enough food, and as I said last week, I cooked my dinner on Friday night on the grill. I brought the skillet pan out. I put some food in, a bit of deer meat, and I made a stroganoff. There's ways to do everything. And that's kind of what I want to hear. I want to hear tonight on the show. You can text me, as I said, on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. I am live, and some people would say a little bit dangerous. But yeah, you can get me on that. And if you want to watch the show, you can do that as well. You can look onto the WRD 989 Facebook page. I'm also available on my own Facebook page, which is Odi_Fitzgerald, if you want to have a little look at the Irish guy talking to you. But it's and we've talked about it. We had Bill was in earlier today, and then Charlie was in, and Tara was here for an hour. We've talked about it, and we're trying to give you as much information as we can. We really are. I'm looking here at the outage numbers, and I'm on the Blue Ridge Mountain or Blue Ridge Co-op, and just looking at the numbers, they're down so much. They are really down. Like, I mean, the linesmen are doing the best that they can. They really are. There's a lot of linesmen, lineswomen, and they're out and they're still working on the roads. Like, I'm looking, as I said, I'm looking at the Blue Ridge Electrical Co-op, and in around Anderson, it's down to single digits. Living over close where I live, close enough to Lake Hartwell, there's two, three houses. On the far side of the lake, there's five, six houses. Up in Seneca, there's 13, 14 houses. They're doing really well. Last night we were talking about it, and the numbers are down. Like in around the Greenville area, the greater Greenville area. I I don't want to say there's only, but it's down to 10,000 people, 10,000 houses in the Greenville area. In around Simpsonville, Simpsonville was hit pretty hard. Simpsonville was hit pretty hard. There's still 13,000 people or houses without power in Simpsonville, but the crews are still working. You go over to Haywood Mall, they've got sleeping quarters set up for the crews. If you still don't have power, if it is a thing where you still don't have power, you can get in contact. You can get in contact with Duke Energy. You can. I mean, I had the number here. I got that number for you. Give me 1 minute, and I will get that number for you. But it. Oh, here we are. If you're on Duke Energy and you still have no power, it's 800 power on. That's 800 POWER on, power on. Give them a call because they don't know. They can't tell that you don't have power. The grid doesn't work that way for some reason. I don't know why. I would have thought that in this day and age that they'd know, but they don't. So if you're still suffering without power, give Duke Energy a call, 800 power on, and they'll do their best to get the power back on for you. There's lots of other numbers you can contact. There's the crisis cleanup crew, which is 1-844-965-1386. If you want to get in contact with FEMA, you can report damage. You can go to www.disasterassistance.gov, or you can call them 1-800-621-3362. If you want to if you're reporting damage. And I know a lot of cleanup has happened. I was driving around yesterday. I had to go cross country. Well, not cross country, but I had to go to the far side of South Carolina, and there is still some roads that they haven't been, and just give them time. Like one of the big things that we're trying to say we're trying to help people with around here is to avoid necessary. Like if it's unnecessary travel, don't do it. Seriously, watch out for down power lines. There is still some power lines are down. You stay out of floodwater. I shouldn't have to tell you that, but stay out of floodwater. Don't go into floodwater. If somewhere is flooded that normally isn't, just stay out of it. Take photographs, take pictures of damage, document all of the damage that happened. Because if you need to get onto your insurance company, going to need to tell them what has happened. You need to show them what has happened. Yeah. It's a situation that none of us have really. I've never been in this situation before. I've never had it. Even living back in Ireland a few times, it was something that if the power went out, the power's gone out, it'd come back about maybe 4 or 5 hours later. For me over here, when the power went, as I said, yes, I'm very lucky for the fact that the power didn't go for long, and when it came back, it came back. But it's something that we've never dealt with before, and a lot of people have never dealt with it before. When I come back, I'm going to be telling you how to deal with something very unfortunate. If you're on the cleanup crew, you know what to do if you find one of the bodies. Listen to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. What's going on, Harold? I got your decals, man. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. We had 5 trees down. Talk about that when we come back, man. Did I turn on the thing? I did. Oh no, you had root damage. That's not good. So, talking about the cleanup that's happening up in North Carolina. Before I do, I'm going to go to the text line 71307, brought to us by Common Sense Retirement Planning. Odie, here's a little word to the wise. Don't let your generator sit there and let the gas go bad, because then you will have to replace the carburetor. It's an old one if it has a carburetor. I had to pay $180 stupid tax. Yeah, gas will go bad. But yes, well, no, I suppose you can deal with that. You can get ready for that, because if, as I say, we all know with the way the weather system works now, with the way that the weather channels work now, we all know when something is going to happen. And I'll be talking about Hurricane Milton in a couple of minutes. It's the fact that we can technology has come so far, science has come so far that we know what's going to happen and where it's going to happen. So, as Jim and Aisley said there, he said you don't have to leave gas in your generator. Run the gas out of it, because if it builds up, gas doesn't last forever. And that's something that I really wanted to tell people that. I really, really wanted to tell people that I seen in gas stations panic buying last week. They were storing as much gas as they could. They were bringing all types of containers. There were all types of jugs and bottles, and they were filling them up with gas. And I wanted to walk over to them. I said, no, I'm not going to walk over to them. What I wanted to say to them is gas is not going to last forever. Your gas has, I know you can put additives into it to keep it fresh and keep it regenerated. I have it in my motorcycle. I don't drive my motorcycle very much. When I put gas into it, I put an additive in, keeps the gas fresh. But gas doesn't last forever. So people that were panic buying and, they were filling up their jugs, and the jugs are probably still there, and then maybe another couple of weeks. If you know something's happening, fill up your jugs. Fill up 2 or 3 of them. They'll be fine. That'll keep your generator going. And that's another thing. Are you looking into buying generators? I definitely am. But I'm going to head to North Carolina, and I never thought I'd have to say this, but if you're in the relief program, now, incidentally, if you need help, you can text relief to 71307, and that'll give you as much information as you need. It'll help you out. It'll tell you where you can look for help and look for all the any numbers that you need to get in contact with. So text, as I said, text relief to 71307 if you still need help. In North Carolina, they're going through the wreckage, because it's wreckage. It's a devastating wreckage. And unfortunately, they are finding bodies. Now, I've been around. Back in the day, I used to be a paramedic, and I've been around dead bodies and bodies that have been there for a while. It's not a pretty sight. It is really not. I'm sorry to say, but it's not a pretty sight. And there is the smell. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is the smell of a dead body, and you will know it. If you've smelt it once and you know what it is, you will know it. And I was talking to people in North Carolina that said they could smell it, but they cannot find, the rescuers can't find the bodies because they're under silt, they're under debris. Some of them are in trees. And it's going to be a long time before everybody's found. And unfortunately, and I hate to say it as well, is that some of the bodies are never going to be found. They're not. They're going to be broken down. They could be buried under tons of mud. They could be buried under rocks. There was rock slides. They could be washed. I don't know. They could be washed out to sea. All water flows to the sea. If they have a straight path with no dams between here and there, even a dam, it can get caught up in a dam. There's a reason that the dams stay 800 feet back from them when you're on the lake. Stuff can get sucked in through the dam, get chewed up. If you're in North Carolina and if you find a body, call 911. Okay? Don't be afraid. It was a person, and you're going to help them out by calling 911. You let them know that you found a body, and they will talk you through the steps. They will let you know what to do. If I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you're in the cleanup crews know this. If you happen to be living near a body of water and a body washes up, just call 911. That's all you got to do. Call 911. Tell them where you are. Tell them that you've found a body, and they will tell you what to do. They will. There's no need to panic. There's no need to, go into meltdown or anything like that. Just talk to them. And remember, the body you found is a person, and you're helping them out because somebody is missing them. Somebody is looking for them. So as I said, just call 911. They will help you out as best they can. And it's not as best they will help you out. 100% help you out. They will let you know what's going to happen, what you need to do. Something I never thought I'd ever have to talk about on radio is what to do in the event of that kind of an emergency. It is very strange. Um, Text line, someone says to me, depending on how far down they went into the river, the rocks and hydraulics can trap bodies. Yeah, they can, and they could leave them underwater. And it is a thing. But I mean, when bodies are underwater for so long, and they're going to start to decay. But yeah, but it is something. It's something that we have to deal with. It's something we weren't prepared. We were not prepared. I hate to say it, but we were not 100% fully prepared. Nobody was. Nobody was. I know the preppers are out there, and yeah, I know Bill. Bill is a prepper big time, and he's got his MREs, and he was ready for it. But it's something I don't think you can prepare for. You can prepare for the worst, but at the same time, something even more will go wrong. Something bad will go wrong, and we can't deal with that. I go to the stream. On the stream, Harold was saying to me that they had 5 trees down that were blocking us in, and he had roof damage. Um, I got hit in the face with a limb. Oh, Harold, that's not good, man. And big gash over his eyebrow. Couldn't get out, so he just taped it up. Yeah, well, when in doubt, is your first aid kit. And this is not directed to you, Harold, but if you're listening to me, have you got a first aid kit in the house? Do you have a first aid kit in the house? Do you know how to stop a wound from bleeding? No, seriously, like do you know what to do if something happens in your house? Because as Harold said, he had 5 trees down blocking him in. Around my house, I couldn't leave. I could not leave my subdivision on Friday up until about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening because there was trees down. We couldn't get in or out. We just couldn't do it. We could get out of the main part of the subdivision. I could go to other subdivisions, but I couldn't. The main road was blocked. The main road, about a mile from the house, was blocked. There was a big tree going across the road, and it's. I wasn't going touching it because I know there's power lines around that, so I wasn't going to go near it. But getting back to the point, do you have a first aid kit in your house? Do you know how to use them? Is it something that you're kind of thinking, maybe I should go and get first aid training? I mean, if someone is badly injured in and around your house, around your neighborhood or whatever, and you can help them and you can keep that person alive, you'd be talking to emergency services while you're trying to help them. And if it's a small cut, can you fix a small cut? Do you know how to clean it? Do you know how to bandage it up? A lot of people don't. There's lots can happen. Yes, I have first aid training. Anybody that's been in the military, they've got first aid training. Do you have it? Are you up to speed on it? Can you help yourself if something bad goes wrong? Do you have your bandages? Some people have suture kits. you know, some people are able to suture themselves up. There's lots to dissect in it. I'm going to talk about Hurricane Milton. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Do, 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 do. So the relief effort is kicked off. The cleanup effort is definitely going. Um, now, some people said that the government are now controlling the weather. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think they can. I don't think it's possible. And people are going to send me in messages. They're going to say, "Odie, what about cloud seeding?" Cloud seeding. You know what cloud seeding is? Cloud seeding is it's where you try to modify the weather. Okay, you find a certain cloud, and this is the research I've done on it about cloud seeding. Is that you find a certain cloud and you go up in an aircraft and you spray particles into a cloud. If it's, I think it's a cumulus cloud, it needs to be. This is me showing my weatherology, which I have very little of. But the research I've done says that it needs to be a cumulus cloud and that it needs to be a saturated cloud that's probably about ready to rain anyway, and that they can make it rain. They can put particles into the cloud to make it rain. Now, as far as I'm aware, that's the only way. That's the only way that they can manipulate the weather at the minute. And yeah, I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, the greenhouse gases and global warming is a big thing." And I might get some Democrats who come on to me and say, "Odie, it's going to happen." The government are doing this, and as soon as Donald Trump gets into power, he's going to manipulate all of the weather, and we're going to have a hurricane whenever he wants to have a hurricane. That's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. It's a natural phenomenon. Hurricanes have been happening long before we even got here. Long before we even got here. I was talking earlier on about the outages as well. And this message comes in from Duke Energy. It says, in the upstate of South Carolina, as we complete the work and restore the backbone of our system, we continue moving personnel to repair thousands of miles of lines and poles that powers the homes and businesses. The extensive damage of the area requires additional work before power can be restored. And we anticipate restoration could extend multiple days for some customers. Yes, it is an unfortunate thing that this is what Duke Energy is saying, because they can't put power through the lines and then for the power to, for someone to get fried, because that's what will happen. If you go near the power lines that are down and there's power running through them, well, it's not going to be a good day for you. It's going to hurt. Don't go near the power lines. Stay away from all of the power lines. What do we have here? Oh, Kid Flaccid. Hey, Kid Flaccid. On the text line. On the text line as well, it says, Odie, people can get community emergency responses training, which is CERT. Yes, they can. Locally, and it is a very, very useful skill to have. There's classes in Oconee County fairly soon. If you can, Texter, if you can get back to me about that and let me know more information you can about the CERTs. As I said, it's community emergency response training, and it's I want to say it's in conjunction with first aid, but I'll text her. Get me if you get me more information on that. I'll have a little look for myself. One thing I learned is that having a full freezer of game meat is not good for emergencies. This is solar generators are the only power in the freezer. Yes, if your freezer is full and you had power gone for so long, I'm very sorry. You've lost it all. Where I was going to, here it is. Yes, Hurricane Milton. So Hurricane Milton is currently out in the Gulf of Mexico. It is going to make landfall. Okay. It's going to make landfall probably in the next day or two. They're not 100% sure when it is, but it is coming. The weather is, they're predicting it's a category 3. A category 3 hurricane. And bad news for Florida is it's going to hit Florida. I'm sorry, it's going to hit Florida. So if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on the Odyssey app or on newstalk989.com, it's going to go in around Tampa. It's going to touch ground around Tampa. It's going to go across, and it's going to leave possibly, I say possibly, around the Daytona Beach area. Good news for us is that it is not going to come as far inland. through Georgia, through South Carolina, Western North Carolina. It's not going to hit that, but it does look like the path is heading off towards Ireland. So I need to warn the people back home about that. I'd warn about it as well. But a texter said to me, where is it now? Yeah. Odie, does Ireland get storms of hurricane strength? And if so, what are they called? And do they get personal names like we do? Yes, yes, indeed they do. In Ireland, now you have to remember that there is nothing between Ireland and America apart from 3,500 miles of ocean. Now, if you're asking me what's that got to do with anything, Odie? Well, have you ever been on any of the big lakes? Now, yes, there is the big lakes, the Superior, all the big ones up the north, but even Lake Hartwell. If you're standing on one side of Lake Hartwell, there might be no breeze blowing, but if you're on the other side of Lake Hartwell, where the wind has a chance to build up, that's a lot of weather. It could be very breezy on the wrong side of the lake. It's the exact same thing in Ireland. Yes, they do get hurricanes, and they do have letters, or they do have names. And the way it works is that the very first hurricane of the year, it's an A letter, so it could be Abigail, or it could be Amanda, or Adam. And they normally go from a male name to a female, female, male, male, female. So if it starts out with a female name like Abigail, the next one is going to be a B name, and it'll be a male B name, so it'll be Brian, and then it'll go to C again, and so on and so forth. So yes, Ireland does get them. Um, when they get to Ireland, normally they get downgraded to a tropical storm once they hit landfall. There's a lot of cliffs in Ireland on the western front, and they will take a lot of the bang out of the hurricanes once they make landfall. But they still get them. But they travel across, and because Ireland is such a small country, Ireland is smaller. If you're looking at a map, or you're looking at a globe, Ireland looks really small, but it's not tiny. Okay, so it's it's roughly the same size as South Carolina. It has roughly the same land mass as South Carolina, as the state of South Carolina. There's 32 counties in Ireland. There's 41 counties in South Carolina. I think there's about 5.5 million people living in Ireland, and there's roughly 7 million people living in South Carolina. So pound for pound, it's about the same size. So if you can imagine, like, it takes 3.5 hours, 4 hours to get across Ireland, and it takes, what, it takes 5 hours to get across South Carolina. A different shape. But yes, they do suffer. Unfortunately, we all do, from tornadoes. Odie, my mother-in-law is coming up from Florida to avoid this hurricane. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. People are going to leave because look at it. I said it's not going to hit. Well, the predictions are saying it's not going to hit South Carolina. It'll come around the coast. The wind will get up. It will probably rain. It'll be bad. But Milton is not going to. We don't want him. After what happened in the last couple of days, we don't want Milton to arrive in South Carolina because, I mean, the devastation is done. And people are saying to me, yeah, but the power lines are back and everything's straight and powerful. And yeah, but, there's still the possibility. It could still happen. But yeah, there is people that are going to be coming back. Someone text me in on the Common Sense for Climate Planning text line. Odie, look up geoengineering. It's real. I'm going to look that up. Yeah. When I come back, are you prepared if this happens again? Yeah, I'm not. Maybe I should get prepared. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. So before the ad break, I was talking a little bit about CERT. The texter got back onto me and they said that CERT is it's offered locally. It seems to be on county levels, and it teaches a variety of skills that free up professional responders and focus, so they can focus on more critical tasks. Now, I went on to the FEMA website. You can go to it's FEMA.gov, FEMA.gov, and it said that the Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, it's a program that educates volunteers about disaster preparedness for hazards that may occur in where they live. CERT it trains volunteers in basic disaster response skills such as fire safety, light search and rescue. So yeah, it's basically when it happens, when a disaster happens, when something goes bad straight away, that it's there, right? That you're there straight away because it's going to take a while. If you, just for argument's sake, if you happen to live somewhere that's a little bit remote, somewhere that's a little bit out of the way, somewhere that's not very accessible, and you've got trees come down, or you've got power lines in water, or you've got, anything could happen in a natural disaster. There could be a fire. It's preparedness for that. It's being able to take the first step straight away and not have to wait for your emergency crews to get out. And the emergency crews are going to get to you. But if they can't get to you, for argument's sake, there's a road and it has a load of trees down. There could be 6 or 7 trees down across the road. And then 2 miles up the road, same thing might happen again. And another 5 miles up the road, that could happen. And 15 miles up the road, there's you and the rest of your people and your friends. And it's going to take hours before search and rescue can get to you. So that's your preparedness. So you can look it up. Check out the FEMA.gov website, and it'll let you know when all of the um, where it's happening and when it's happening. A texter text back in, they're in Oconee County, and they're saying that it starts on the 1st of November. So I'll try and get more information about that later on in the show. Someone did text into me and they said, "Odie, look up geoengineering. It's real." So I went in and I looked up geoengineering, and geoengineering is a set of large scale technologies that aim to reduce the effects of climate change by intentionally altering the Earth's climate system. Come on. Look at, I know there's lots of stuff. Global warming it hasn't been fully disproven, but now they're saying that it's getting colder, that the world is getting colder. What happened? What's that little Swedish girl that should have been in school? Greta Thunberg, or Norwegian, or wherever she was from. She should, yeah. That was a money making racket. I don't care what anybody says. I've talked about this. I've been on, anybody that's listened to the shows, they've heard me on. I've been talking with Charlie for different things. I've been talking with Bill, and we've all talked about the same thing: is that global warming. I think global warming. I don't want to say it's a stunt, but the planet has been here for a long, long time. The planet has been here for billions of years. Now, I don't know, like, people, obviously think different things about the different, but geographically, we know that the planet's been here for billions of years. And in the scale of things, humans have not been here all that long. We haven't. We just haven't. The dinosaurs were here for so long that some of the dinosaurs are closer to us than they are to the original dinosaurs. Do you get what I mean? There was millions and millions of, there was like 200, or I think 260 million years between a Stegosaurus and a T-Rex. And a T-Rex was 65 million years ago for us. We're not the first ones here. We How many ice ages have there been? We are coming out of the last big ice age. We are. And that's why the world was getting warmer. Things change. If every human was to fall off the planet tomorrow, it wouldn't be very long before you didn't even know we were here. There's actually somebody said to me the only way that anybody in just say for argument's sake, if the humans fell off the planet tomorrow, okay, the only way that an alien, if they decided to fly by, the only way that they would know that humans were ever here in a couple of thousand years is the footprints on the moon. That's the only way that they will ever know humans existed because everything else will be gone. 100% gone. There won't be fossils of us. Any of the structures, like the big tall buildings and the concrete buildings, steel buildings, the pyramids will be a little bit there. They may be covered with sand. But the fact that people are saying that the government are controlling the weather, I really don't think so. I just But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that the government is controlling the weather? Do you think they're covering up for something? Do you think that something else was about to happen? Is it a thing? Well, it's kind of backfired for them a little bit because if if the government induced the last hurricane to come through, okay, as a bid to help them gain popularity within the world and help us to vote that way and make sure that Sleepy Joe and Kamala or whatever way she's pronouncing her name this week, that we vote them back in because they're helping us out so much. Turns out they're not. More interested in what's happening in Lebanon. Now, look, I don't want to see anybody suffering. I don't. But look after your people first. As I said earlier on, and that's what the first aid training is for. That's what all that's about, is you're looking after your people first. You do it. You will do it. You are sitting there and you're listening to me. Like, what's he on about? You will do it. If somebody, for argument's sake, if something happens in your neighborhood, okay, and one of your loved ones gets injured along with a neighbor, who are you going to run to first? You're going to run to your loved one. You're going to make sure they're okay. If you need to administer first aid, you're going to administer first aid to them first. You're going to look out for your loved one, make sure they're okay. They're your loved one. It's either your wife or your kid, or your husband or your kid, or your parents or your kid. You're going to make sure that they're okay first. Then you will go and look after somebody else. But apparently, yeah, this is getting my goat up. Apparently, they're going to look after Lebanon before they look after us here in America. Now, I was on Twitter earlier on and I took a quick little photograph of a screenshot from the Vice President, Kamala or however she pronounces it. Now, just remember, she is the Vice President of America, this country that we live in. 7 years living here now. I call myself an American. Happy to be here. Kamala is on her X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. She says that the people of Lebanon are facing an increasingly dire humanitarian situation. I am concerned about the security and the well-being of the civilians suffering in Lebanon and will continue working to help meet their needs of the civilians there. What about the civilians here, Kamala? To that end, the United States will provide nearly $157 million of additional, that means that they've given some already, additional assistance to the people of Lebanon for essential needs such as food, shelter, water, protection, and sanitation. So she's going to make sure that everybody else is going to get food, water, shelter, and sanitation. But yet, she is only going to give people that have been severely affected in North Carolina, South Carolina, anybody that has been affected, is it $700? You tell me how many nights stay in a hotel you can get for $700. I'll tell you. I went on to different hotel groups. I'm not going to name any of them, but at the minute, they're about $110 a night. So you tell me how many nights. You're going to get about 6 nights. That's all you're going to get. Is that is that what you want to do? I've said it here a few times, and I will say it again. I cannot vote. I am not a citizen. I am a permanent resident, but I am not a citizen, so I cannot vote. You can vote. You have a vote. You can get out there on the 5th of November, which is in fact my wedding anniversary. But you can get out there on the 5th of November and you can vote for the likes of the people like me that cannot. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but you need to get out and vote. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It's the voice of an angry Odi tonight for some reason, and the Carolinas. Did I? I did. Sorry, I got very angry there for a second. Sometimes, I just, you know, looking for music. That's what I'm. Anyway, yes, it did. Yeah, man. It just, yeah. Errol, you're 100% right, man. It just sometimes it just kind of, oh. As I said, can't tell people how to vote. Not going to tell them how to vote, but vote. Yeah. Just, I'm watching his background stuff. I'm watching um, basketball. Basketball, it's not massive in Ireland. The size of them lads, they're huge. Just we have a TV in the studio, and sometimes I watch stuff that comes up in the studio. The height of them basketball players, they're massive. take like 4 steps and they're across the court. I don't know. Crazy. I'm running down the dream. Dun, 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 dun. I do like that. Mm.
And now, welcome to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Live conversation.
You're very welcome back to hour number 2 of Angry Odie tonight. Yeah, I am a little bit angry, just ever so slightly. Yeah. Anyway, I've calmed down over the ad break. I have. I watched a little bit of basketball on the TV, and it calmed me down a little. But people were saying, I posed the question before the break about the government being able to control the weather. If they could control the weather, it wouldn't rain in Ireland all the time. Yeah, it rains in Ireland a lot. People have gone to Ireland and they've come back and they're like, "Oh, yeah, Odie, we went to Ireland and it was lovely, but it rained." Yeah, well, it's going to do that. Ireland is like Scotland. We're known for making people wet. That's what happens. On the text line, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. It says, "Hey man, the US government has been involved in weather control and weather modification since the 50s, and their ability in that area has grown since then. When the flights were grounded during..." Yeah, now there is something. Yes, it says, when the flights were grounded after 9/11, the temperature of the Earth actually got cooler, and the exact same thing happened. I think it was 10 years ago when the Icelandic, what was it? Volcano. There was a volcano in Iceland that erupted. Okay. And it caused devastation to a lot of the engines and engine parts of airlines, of jet aircraft. So they grounded all the flights. The Earth got cooler. It did, because there wasn't so many aircraft flying around the place. But here's the thing. They're trying to blame everything else on the Earth getting hotter and colder. We got a text in earlier on. Let me see, where is it? No, can't find it. It said, "Oh yeah, no, it was here. It is. Oh, they're always telling us about the record highs in climate change, but they never tell us about the record lows." Well, they do, but they keep it quiet. They keep it quiet. Anyway, listen, I don't mind a little bit of heat. Now I do like a bit of cold sometimes as well, and I go up into, well, I normally go into North Carolina up around Maggie Valley to go skiing in the winter, and I hope everybody is safe up there. I hope everything is, that they're getting back to normal again. I was actually reading something on the internet, and everything you hear on the internet is perfectly true. But they're saying now that they're facing another problem. So yellow jackets, yellow jackets, the little stingy guys. Well, apparently during the cleanup operations, most of the yellow jackets, as you've noticed, are starting to hibernate. They're starting to go back into the burrows and not be out as much. You'll probably have noticed it. There's not as many insects like wasps and all that kind of around because it's starting to cool down. It's starting to get colder, and they're starting to hibernate. And apparently, when people are checking out in wreckage up in North Carolina, they're getting stung by yellow jackets because they're waking up the yellow jackets, the bees, and other insects. And it was surprisingly warm last week as well. So that's something else that you have to worry about. And that's something that you have to worry about as well. If you're cleaning up around your yard, please watch out for all those kind of animals. Watch out for snakes. I've seen a couple of snakes out in the yard yesterday. There were black snakes, and we all like the little black snakes around here. I still don't. Being from Ireland, no, we don't like snakes. We don't have snakes in Ireland. St. Patrick got rid of all of those. Earlier on, we were talking about how preparedness and how you can get ready. And I am going to talk about that a little bit in this hour. People are saying that on the text line, Odie, I bought a complete medical bag in Pickens Jockey Lot. It was $50. Argument is, yeah, okay. Is it complete? Is it 100% complete? Is it? Check it out. Do your research about your medical bags. There are some essentials that you definitely need. Bandages, lots of bandages. You need to be able to close a wound if you can. So, as I said earlier on, go on to the FEMA website, FEMA.gov, and they have the CERT program. It's going to give you, it's going to help you out as best you can. Ask your local fire departments. Their fire departments are always running first aid courses. Look up first aid courses, get your first aid courses. And if you do happen to get a medical bag for yourself, a jump bag, if you happen to get a jump bag, just if you know anybody in the medical, if you know a paramedic, if you know a nurse, just get them to look over it, because there's a lot of stuff in the medical bags that you need. But there's also some of the stuff in the medical bag that you, as a civilian, without full training, you don't need it in your bag, because it's not gonna help you. If you're fully trained, then yes. On the text line, Odie, they said it's got a lot cooler. Depends on who they are. Yeah. Another texter says, Odie, maybe it's all the rain in Ireland that keeps it green. My mother and I flew over Ireland on the way to Amsterdam, never saw so much green. I'm surprised you could see it, because there's normally a lot of cloud cover. Tourism Ireland are going to be texting me very soon, and will you stop telling them it's raining all the time? But yeah, Ireland, it does get an awful lot. Someone on the text line, I just realized that I've been spelling your name wrong. It's ODI, not ODIE. I don't mind. Odie with the E is the little, the cuddly little dog on Garfield. If you want to call me that, you can call me that. Just don't call me too early in the morning. Someone else says the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. No, don't know much about them. Honestly, I don't know a lot about them at all. I'm going to give you the numbers again, the outage numbers. As I said, in the Greenville area, in actual Greenville itself, you've got 14,000 houses are without power still. Yes, I know it's been over a week. They're doing everything that they can. As I said, Duke Energy have issued a statement. In the upstate of South Carolina, as we complete the work to restore the backbone of our system, we can continue moving personnel to repair thousands of miles of lines and poles that power homes and businesses. The extensive damage in the area requires additional work before power can be restored, and we anticipate restoration could extend multiple days for some customers. They're saying in Western North Carolina, restoration services may be extended in particular areas where catastrophic damage has occurred to the electrical infrastructure. Roads and bridges are out. Yes, roads and bridges. Anybody that has tried to go to Tennessee, you can't. The road is closed off. You can't get up it. We will continue to keep our customers informed as the conditions involve, and that's the thing as well. I, even with the internet services, I keep. I don't need them all the time, but they keep giving out information, and that is what key is that you know once you, at least if you know that people are coming to help, it helps. It really does help, and it boosts morale. And that's something as well. And I tell you what, I'm going to talk about that in the next segment. I'm going to talk about keeping your morale up. Keeping the good side up, because it's not easy. It's not. If you're without power, electricity, energy, internet, it's not easy. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Hey, Anne-Marie. Only nobody's talking about the Hangotango eruption of 2022. It was very much a factor in the heavy rain. That is, yeah, that went under sea volcano erupted. It forced 150 million tons of water vapor into the upper atmosphere. What goes up must come down. Yes, scientists are saying that they are suffering the effects for a decade. 100%. 100%. Chat about that when I come back, Amory. Or Marianne. Sorry. I know too many Amories. Amory is a very common Irish name. Marianne. Sorry about that, Marianne. I really apologize. Why am I gone fuzzy? I'm no longer fuzzy. Carolinas. Very welcome back. No, that's not the right song I wanted to play, but these things happen. On the text line, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. If you ever want to know what the weather is really doing, ask the oldest mailman you can find. They are out in it all day long. Yes, they are. If you want to know what the weather is going to do, ask a mailman or ask a farmer. If it's an old farmer, you know them old farmers, they've got a hand, they've got hands like big shovels. You know, they're I don't know how you describe them. They're just big burly men. You know, they're men of the earth, and they will tell you within an hour of when it's going to rain or what the day is going to do because they rely on the land. They do rely on the land. On the stream, don't forget you can get us on the News Talk 98.9 Facebook page. We are live on there. Marianne sent me a message and she said, "Oh, nobody is talking about I think it's the Hango Togerian eruption. So I think it's in Tonga, without in Tonga, happened in Tonga in 2022. It is very much a factor in the heavy rain events that we are experiencing. When that undersea volcano erupted, it forced 150 million tons of water vapor into the upper atmosphere. What goes up must come down. Yes, it will. And scientists are saying that we will be suffering for decades because of it. I'm not disputing that, not even slightly. You know, whatever we put into the atmosphere, it's going to come down at some stage. I mean, we've got the stuff coming from space every single day. The Earth is heavier right now than it's ever been. And that just keeps going up because there's debris and space dust is coming to the Earth all the time. Um, we're talking about the mailman or the farmers. Yeah. But what are you going to do if it happens again? Or what are you going to do if it goes even worse? Okay. So as I said earlier on in the show, I was lucky enough not to lose power for all that long. Lost power for 12, 14 hours. Not 100% sure, but not that long. I didn't open my fridge. I didn't go near my fridge. I didn't open the freezer because once you open it, cold air gets out, hot air gets in. Leave it closed. It doesn't last for a long time. I mean, it's going to warm up eventually, but a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours, it should be fine. Maybe 5 hours, it should be fine. I checked everything I've cooked since. It's been fine. None of the meat froze, or none of my meat in the fridge thawed out. So it was all good. Nothing defrosted. But how are we going to manage the next time? Let's say if something big happens. Okay. So we had a disaster of a hurricane rolled through in the last 10 days. Lots of power was gone. Electricity was gone. Everything was gone. There wasn't gas shortages, but because people were buying so much gas, gas stations were running out. They were building up their stock again. There was no shortage. Okay. But if something goes wrong, how are we going to prepare for it? Are we going to prepare? Are you going to put solar batteries onto your house? Are you going to, if there's an EMP, that's not going to work anymore. Do you think, text me in on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Do you think that we will survive as a human race if we lose all power? If there's a big catastrophe, I don't want to mention a war, but if there's a war and we lose all power, how are we going to survive? I was talking about this with a few friends of mine over the weekend. We went for breakfast yesterday morning and we were talking about it. And it was a thing of, well, Odi, you'll be okay. You can hunt. And I said to my buddy as well, well, you're going to be fine. You can hunt as well. But how are we going to get water? Do you know how to purify water? Do you know how to do it? I do. I've done lots of courses. You need to filter it out. You need to take all of the bad medicine out of it. You can't just put something into it to clean the water because it's got loads of bacteria left inside. It's got if you don't clean your water properly, if you don't filter your water properly, and after all the filtration, then you have to go and you have to boil your water. It's not going to taste fantastic, but once you clean water, once you know how to clean water, you have a small way of surviving. Where are you going to get your water from? Are you going to get it from the lake? Are you going to get it from a creek? Get it from a creek, it's going to be nasty. Can you generate? Can you light? Can you start a fire? Do you know how to start a fire? You just think about it. If oh well, Odie, I'll be fine. I've got loads of boxes of matches and books of matches. I'll be okay. I'll be well able to start a fire. Okay. So what happens when they run out? You think about it. If everything goes, if no power is gone, we've no way to generate more power. You say, oh, that can't happen. Well, it could. We could be all stranded. We could all be little islands, all stranded out. Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to start a fire? Do you know how to clean food? Do you know how to catch food? Can you make a little snare, catch rabbits, catch squirrels, fish? Do you know how to clean fish? This is just something, and in the last couple of days, last 10 days, as I said, it's been in my brain, and it's a little bit kind of like, uh, will we be okay? You can't store food. You cannot store food. The only way you can store food is by curing food, and you have to know how to smoke food. Then you can store it. I mean, there is people out in the planet. There's tribes. There is still some tribes in some parts of the planet. There's islands with tribes on them. There's an island off the coast of India, and the tribe they've been contacted once or twice. Unfortunately, everybody that's contacted them have been eaten because they're cannibals. We don't want cannibals, but those tribes are surviving. They've never seen people, proper people. There's tribes in the Amazon, and they're still living the old ways. They're self-contained. They've never seen white people. They've never seen Westerners. Is it a thing that we're all going to contract a virus? I'm not. I'm honestly, I am not even slightly trying to scare people. I'm not. But we have to be ready. If something goes wrong, we have to be ready. Can you defend your house? I know here in South Carolina, a lot of people in South Carolina exercise their Second Amendment, and I am one of them as well. We can defend our house until the bullets run out. I have bows as well. I have loads of arrows. And I think, like, I used to see preppers living back in Ireland years ago. I used to see preppers, and I was like, what are these guys doing? And now I'm a little bit like, they're onto something. You have your MREs and you have canned food. Now, I know canned food does go bad eventually, but there's a long shelf life on canned food. I was looking at a can of beans I have in my pantry last week. It, I, it was I was trying to make something different to eat because the supermarkets were closed down or some of them weren't open fully. And I was like, I want something to eat. I'm going to try something different. I was going to make some hot dogs and beans, and I was looking at the date and I was like, when did I buy these? I think I bought these 2 or 3 years ago. And I bought them 2 years ago, and they were nearly out of date. I was like, well, I'm going to eat them tonight. Is it a thing that we need to start prepping now? Were the preppers right all along? Well, I'm definitely going to start to prep. On the text line, Odi, the most valuable item is a battery-powered AM FM radio. Yes, it is. They will work. Texters goes on to say that they work unless they're wet. But if you get the right one, you can make electronics are now water. There is some electronics. Don't go putting things into the river to see if they still work when you take them out. There is some electronics that are waterproof. Or there's something else, and it's something that I have in Ireland, and I probably should get it sent over eventually, or just get one here, is a clockwork radio. You wind it up, it's got a spring system in it. You wind up the radio, and all of a sudden your radio works. You can get information, AM, FM. There's power there. It's a clockwork radio. Look them up. I have one in Ireland. I need to get one over here because I know the world is moving, but radio was the first means of communication, electronic communication. Okay. When power goes, radio stations have the capability to generate electricity. We can to keep people informed, to keep people in the loop. That's what we do. That's what we do here. So you can always hear radio. There's people with ham radios. I know Bill was talking about it during the week. Is how ham radios people are looking for people with ham radios. Operators are talking to each other and they're saying, I've got a person here and they're looking for this person. Do you think you could help us out? They're helping it, and they kept a lot of the areas going. Um, there's people are still texting me about the geoengineering. They're saying that they're geoengineering every single day in the upstate. Go to geoengineeringwatch.org if you really want to. I just look at. I just think that the government controls a lot, but I don't. Maybe they do. Maybe I'll do some information and I'll check into it myself. I'll have a look and I'll see, what the government can actually do. But I don't know. Don't know about geoengineering. Maybe. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. This is the voice of the prepping Irishman. Doom, 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 doom. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yes, for somebody to. Mhm.
That World Haunted Attraction is now open. Only one of America's top haunts and number one in South Carolina. Mad World is much more than just a haunted house. It's a fall tradition like no other. Explore your way through the award-winning and elaborate haunted house and trail. Haunted house is not your thing? We have 18-hole mini golf, axe throwing, and carnival games. Enjoy our food, bonfire, rolling characters, 3D photos, gift shop,
Excuse me. I didn't mean to yawn.
Still too faint of heart? Grab one of our no scare medallions to brave the attractions with your friends. Got kids? They'll be able to take over the night and repel the monsters that lurk around. Mad World is the upstate's most anticipated event of the year. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85 exit 35. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
And now, a can't miss moment from the Charlie James Show.
I think everybody needs to go out and vote Republican in this election. I don't want anybody sitting at home. Once this election is over, November the 5th comes and the results come in, I am seriously going to have to sit down and have a very big heart-to-heart talk with myself because I am not seeing the GOP being the party that is really representing me.
Don't miss the Charlie James Show. Weekdays 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
Voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, it's Tara. I do the homework and give you the facts every morning starting at 6 on The Tara Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
WORD.
Talk to Odi at 800-905-09.
I think this music is fitting because Odie's angry tonight. No, I'm hyped up. I'm a little bit amped up. On the text, if you were listening to the show last night, I was on with Lonzo and the boys for the Upstate Pulse, and I leaked it out that I have a multi-instrument pilot license, and somebody said I would be jealous of your multi-engine, multi-instrument pilot license, except I know how hard you work for it. Yes, I did work very hard. Now, I wouldn't say I worked very hard for it. I took my time in doing it, and I done it over a few years, and I got my license. And I haven't really flown in a while, but maybe I should get flying again. Maybe I should be back flying. On the text line, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, we got one texter, and they've dug their heels in big time about the geoengineering, and they're saying, "Oh, don't worry, Odi, it's not government doing the geoengineering; it's private companies." Why would they? Look at another texter said extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Yes. And unfortunately, the only evidence I can get for a lot of stuff here at the minute is online. And as you know, everything that you read online is 100% true. And I read that online as well. Another texter says, yes, Odi, I have a crank radio. And for some reason, we've been on and off. Some of the stations were up and down, and it was all that kind of stuff. But no, you can get a lot of radio stations, during blackouts and during times when there is ways to get it. Odi, survival without civilization. Well, it's going to be barely and brutal. Yes, it is. It's going to be one of those times where you're just kind of like, oh. I hate to say it, but you need to just. So it's going to be survival of the fittest. If there is no civilization, that's a hard word. If there's no civilization, it's going to be survival of the fittest. 100% is. They also go on to say that the dates on the cans is best if served by, best before. Some of them. There is use by dates. There's two different dates that you have on cans. They've got best before and you've got used by. Use by. And a use by is, we wouldn't recommend you eating that after this date. Whereas best before is, well, I mean, like spam. If you eat spam, there's a use or a best before on that. It's like, well, if you want to eat it, we're not going to stop you, but it might not taste fantastic. So just be careful when you're looking at that. There is best before and there is use bys. Somebody else text in, Odi, it's going to be I got that one as well. Oh yeah, if you're hunting and if you can scavenge the forest for berries and roots, you can eat them. You can eat indefinitely. Yes, you can. But here's something: go to the library, go to your local bookstore, okay, and check out some of the old survival books. There's loads of them out there. They help you to identify mushrooms because some mushrooms, if you eat them, they're going to be tasty, okay, and they're going to be nice, and you can put them onto the toast of the bread that you were able to make by grinding your own wheat, and you can eat them. But some mushrooms, if you even look at them, you're going to die. So older books, old survival books will help you with that. There is ways to survive. You can survive. You just need to research it. You need to just do something about it. You need to get out there and you need to do your research. Once you have your research, you can do pretty much anything you want. Um, oh yeah. People are saying that they cannot survive 30 days when they obviously people who can't find worms to fish. You can fish with I've done it. I speak from personal experience. If you've got lures, you can go fishing. You can put a hook in the water with a little bit of aluminum foil on it and it will catch fish. You may not catch all the fish, but you will catch some fish. Now, I want to talk a little bit about avoiding I'm not avoiding the conversation, but steering it in your favor. Now, as you know, Donald Trump was back in Pittsburgh and he got back on stage and he had another rally and Elon Musk was there. Let's see, I have a clip here from Elon. Let me just pop this one there and that there and put that one up there and put this one here. Sorry, buttons to press. Yeah, that's that little backstage for you. This is what Elon had to say.
The true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot.
That's true. It is true.
Fight, fight, fight. Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave.
Yeah. Now, so you have to remember, Elon is South African, and he went on to say America is the home of the brave because he's been living here for quite a while, like me, and he realizes how great America is. Okay. Crowd love that. They do.
And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America?
And that's it. Who do you want representing America? Now, as that was happening, as that was going on, the powers that be might have gotten a little bit nervous because Joe Biden, well, he went into the press conference. Now, I have a clip, but it's just mumbling Joe. He's not making a whole lot of sense, and he's just talking. I'm not even going to play it. But is it a case? You can text me in Common Sense Retirement Plan text line 71307. Do you think that they got a little bit afraid? The fact that one of the most powerful men in the country, in the world, Mr. Elon Musk, that guy can get stuff done. Now, actually, would you believe I didn't really know that he was a Republican? Shame on me for not knowing that. I for some reason, I thought he was supported the Democrats. Again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm sorry, but he's come up in my books. The most powerful man, one of the most powerful, well, two of the most powerful men, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, standing on a stage together, having fun with each other, talking about what's going to happen. Elon telling you to vote for Donald because we want a fighter. Now, I've said this before, okay? Donald Trump does not need to be the president. He is a very well-known man. He is a very wealthy man. And you're going to say, oh, is it not about money? It's not about money. But he has done so much in his life to get where he is that he wants to be the president because he knows he can fix stuff. He knows he can fix the mess that has been made in the last 4 years. And he will do it fast. He will do it very fast. Again, I'm not going to tell anybody who to vote for, but when Donald gets in, 5th of November, Donald gets in, and all of a sudden, all of the wars around the world are going to stop. They are, because they know that Donald doesn't take that crap from anybody. If he was in power, it never would have started. The wars wouldn't have started, because Vladimir would have rang him up and he's like, thinking about invading. And Donald would have said, you do it, see what happens. Just do it. Just take one step, see what happens. Joe Biden's in office. Probably got a phone call from Vladimir. Joe, I want to invade. Oh, well, okay. Nothing stopping him. On the text line, someone says, Odi, yes, they are terrified. Yes, they are terrified. Every night before I come in here, I won't call it a script. I do up bullet points. You know what I mean? Little things that will cue me on to the next thing I want to talk about. It's not a script. It's just bullet points. Small little things subjects I want to talk about. And then I go off and I find the information that I can find to give to you. So basically, I'm not using the script, and I'm able to talk. 2 hours, I'm able to have conversation, talk to you, give you the information that you need to know. Kamala can't do anything without a teleprompter. She just starts repeating herself. You could see her teleprompter. She was she was at a rally and her teleprompter died. And she just kept saying the same thing over and over again for about 45 seconds. I'm not going to play it because it's boring. And she just kept saying the same thing over and over again, because she doesn't have the mental capacity to be able to build a sentence, to be able to tell people what she wants to portray, what she wants to give out to people, the information that she wants to give to people. She wasn't able to do it. She panicked. You could see the look of panic in her face. Anyway, you're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. It's the voice of the Carolinas.
And now, the can't miss moment on the Charlie James Show.
The Center for Immigration Studies found last year, from January 2023 to December of 2023, 320,000 illegal immigrants were allowed to fly into the U.S. from their home country because they have an app. They have the one app that allows them to get in. Oh my gosh. This app was created to let migrants apply for parole in the U.S. They're just bringing them in wholesale now. Well, these people apparently they went to the border and they were told no, you can't come in. So they had to go back home. And then when they got home, they just got on the app. We sent a plane and picked them up. That's what the Biden administration is doing. And folks, let me just tell you, all of this is the stuff that Mike Johnson could have put a stop to. Republicans in Congress could have put a stop to. They could have done it, but they didn't because they don't want to.
Don't miss the Charlie James Show, weekdays 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD.
Voice of the Carolinas. And now, a can't miss moment from the Charlie James Show.
He replied, "Yup, what the actual hell? Deal with it. It's happening, sis." And he said, "There is a movement, a serious movement, and you and your minions cannot deny it." So Nikki Haley planning on doing something on the floor of the convention to try to against Donald Trump, his likely nominee, and could she be wanting to use the term convicted felon Donald Trump as the platform to pull this thing out? Oh, I think so.
So during the break there, someone texted in and said Elon isn't a Republican. Well, why was he on stage with Donald Trump? We don't talk about MAGA then. So here's something. Maybe you can explain this to me, okay? And I'd like to hear. We all like MAGA. Make America great again. And the reason we say make America great again is like you have to remember when I was sitting at home in Ireland as a kid, idolizing America's. You know, they had all the cool cars and they had all the cool films and they had all the cool people. All the actors weren't. Now, there's a lot of actors that are after coming out of Ireland in the last couple of years, but everybody cool came from America. America was, if you said you were going on holidays, right? The very first time I came to America was in 1998. I was 17 years old. It was the very last family holiday because myself and my sister didn't like each other very much. And anytime we went on holidays, we tried to kill each other because we were in the same room as each other. Didn't get on with each other. So we were told it was the very, very last family holiday. We were going to go to New York and Boston. We did. We went to New York. We went to Boston. I was actually lucky enough to have gone up the towers, the Twin Towers. I have photographs somewhere. It was the very last American holiday. When I was telling people I was going to America for a vacation, they could not believe it. Oh my God, Odi, you're going to America. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Oh, make sure you see this, and you're going to go to a diner and you're going to eat really mad food and it's going to be crazy and you're going to have so much fun. And I did. And then you cut to 7 years ago when I came out to America first. There was some people, not a lot of people, but some people were saying to me, you're going to America. You want to watch out for that place. So what Donald Trump, I remember it was Ronald Reagan that started Make America Great Again, and Donald Trump adapted it, which is great because that's what we need to do. We need to get this country back to the country that everybody else aspires to be. We can do it. 100% we can do it. But unfortunately, some people are following the wrong government. We can 100% get America back to where it was. As I say, I idolized the American way of life. I was talking to my wife a couple of weeks back about it, and I was saying, I kind of wish I had come to America sooner. I really do. I really do. Don't get me wrong. The people are going to text in, "Oh, do you not love your own country?" Yes, I do. I love Ireland. I always will love Ireland. But it's the fact that I'm now here in America. America has embraced me. It has brought me into the bosom of its heart, and It's a country that I was built for this country. People have said it to me. They've always said it to me. Oh, you were a cowboy back in Ireland and you've embraced it now. And I have. So I want to know, is there any people, democratic people out there who, oh no, you can't wear a MAGA hat. No, 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 you can't wear that. That's a disgrace. You shouldn't be wearing that. Tell me why. Tell me why you do not want to make America great again. Why it infuriates you so much. Tell me why. You're out there. You may have stumbled across the show. We've had a lot of new listeners after tuning in the last 10 days because there was nothing they couldn't get TV, they couldn't get it, and they got radio. They were listening to us on radio. So you're very welcome, all the new listeners. Tell me why. Tell me why you don't want to make America great again. America is still a fantastic country. This is from someone that I wasn't born here. I've moved over. I transplanted myself into America legally. It's cost me a lot of money to get here. And yes, it really does annoy me when I see people coming into the country and getting loads of handouts. Yes, it does. I tell you, it cost me nearly $10,000 to get where I am right now, just to be legal, because I love the country so much. Love my wife, love my son, both Americans. Want to stay in the country with them. But what I will say to you is that if we've learned anything in the last couple of days, the last 10 or 15 days, is that we need to look out for each other. We need to stop badgering each other. We need to stop getting onto each other. We need to support each other as best as we can. There's the older generations out there. Subdivision I live in, I've got Vietnam vets all around me. Check in on them as much as I can. Make sure they're okay. Now, these guys are Vietnam vets, so they're ex-army, and there was a Marine as well. These guys all had generators. They had power when I didn't, They're prepped. They were ready for it. But you need to look out for each other. We need to stop, getting on each other. We need to help each other out as best as we can. Now, I know I'm a big advocate of mental health, and I talk about it a lot here on the show, but solitude can really hurt people. Solitude can. One of the biggest things in Ireland during the lockdown, because they had a lockdown. I know we had a lockdown, but it wasn't as strict or as stringent. You weren't confined to a 3-mile radius from your house here in America, especially not in South Carolina. In Ireland, they were. The suicide rate went up by 25% in Ireland during the lockdown. It was 2 years where people could not leave their houses unless they were going to work or going to the supermarket. They couldn't even go see their family. So if you imagine if somebody was living on their own, solitude will kill people. Solitude will kill people. It will. So that's something that we need to look out for, and I will talk about it more in the coming weeks. I had a guest in from a counselling service in Anderson, Carpe Diem Counselling, and as I always say it, we need each other. We are not solitary animals. Some people say, "Oh, I could go and live in the wilderness for 25 years and I would be fine." Some people can. Some people are very, very comfortable with themselves. Others are not. I'm one of them people. I will enjoy my own company for quite a while, but after a bit of time, I kind of need to talk to somebody. Need to get out there. And that's one thing that I will say. If we've learned anything, we need to prepare. We need to have our preparedness up to speed. We need to talk to each other. We need to check in on each other. We need to make sure that everybody is doing okay. Lots of people out there. Maybe in a couple of years' time, you may not be doing so well, and you'll be delighted to see someone come to the house and have a chat with you. We need to start looking out for each other. We also need to start do you remember, the government work for us. We hired them. We vote for them. If we didn't vote for them, they're not going to be in. The government work for us. Okay? They are our representative. They're the people. Yeah, I know. They make the rules. They make the laws. But if we didn't vote them in, they wouldn't be making the laws, making the rules. They have to answer to us. They have to Joe Biden in Washington, if he's there tonight, I don't know where he is, he has to answer to us. So on the 5th, November 5th, my wedding anniversary, just gonna say that again. Get out there and vote. Vote. See what's after happening in the last couple of weeks, last couple of days over around here in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina. And look at what's been done to help people. And then look at what's been done to help people in Lebanon. Think about that one for a minute. But yeah, we do. We need to help each other out. We need to always help each other out. Because that's what we need to do for each other. Joey's back in the morning. Tara will be up after him. I'll be back next week. Stay safe out there. Look after each other. Have fun. Have a good week. Slán a bhaile. Bye. All right, folks. Thanks very much for tuning in. See you next week. Take care.